Hello guys, Red Pill Phil, you alright? Sunday morning, look where I am. Don't you love it, eh? It's a good job, I love my job, really is. I want to kind of talk about a guy, one of the most wicked, evil, self-obsessed men that I've ever kind of known in my life. It's kind of the stuff of nightmares, tales, talking about people like this round a campfire to scare the frigging bejesus out your kids. This is the kind of man, and it's a real man. Hungarian, Jew, born around 1930, at the age of 14. 1944 this would have been. In his country it was getting on top with the Nazi occupation, so this young lad decides to get out of Dodge, but because he's a Jew, his father sees it that a prominent German fellow kind of takes him under the wing, blags it, says he always my godson, he's alright, let him out. So he gets out. So you'd think anyone in that scenario, I'm out, I'm done, laters. Not this guy. He turned round, then started helping the Nazis, become a collaborator, helping rounding up the Jews, confiscating all the possessions. Probably people he would have known, people in his regions just watching him, you know. And you think to yourself, how do you know all this? Because he said it himself. He's not hiding it. It's not just a hearsay, it's not a conspiracy. It's here, it's his own words. There's interviews on the internet where he's talking openly about it. I mean, even the interviewee is a Jew, or got of Jewish descent. So he's pulling him to task about these events that have happened. And Georgie porgie is just being, oh, well, it's what I had to do, you know. I don't regret it. In some ways, it's made me the man I am. Which is evident, isn't it? Obviously, you can see where it started. You just can't understand the mentality of a guy like that. You can't understand it. What his motives are. How he's allowed to evade any kind of justice. Everyone knows, even the most layman knows that he's a guy who's worth 25.2 billion. Funds his money into all kinds of organisations, NGOs, everything. Posing as the nice guy, helping. But this is a guy that's pretty much overthrown countries, destabilised countries. He was on the verge of bringing Britain down with the economy. The guy just plays with countries like it's a chessboard. Fuck it. Don't matter the consequences. He's also said that openly in an interview. What he does is amoral. But he almost says in this interview, don't hate the player, hate the game. Now, I've heard that saying before, and in the context I've heard it before, you can kind of give it a laugh, but when you're talking about the demise of millions of people worldwide, you know, the destabilisation of countries, look what he's done in the Ukraine, look what he's doing in America now, look what he's doing over here. He's got his fingers in all kinds of pies, Georgie porgie. So it just makes me think that what goes through the mind of a sick git like that? If I had £25.2 billion, right, I tell you now, I ain't got any of this on, for starters. I'm gone. If I can't find my own little island somewhere, if I can't find the biggest boat that can sit in the biggest ocean and just chill, I'm going to build myself a little Elysium. Yeah, some little off-world place. It just rotates, just somewhere orbiting around the Earth. Just enough so I can just slip back in every other weekend or whatever. That'll be me, done. Made me money. See you later, guys. See you later. Hope you're all good. I don't mind giving a little bit of money here and there. Yeah, help whoever out in a nice way. Don't want to destabilise you. I've made my money, I'm good. I don't need to mess with you guys. I'll try and help you every way I can. Not him. He's like the James Bond villain stroking the cat. He just wants to see it that he can just totally dominate the world with his ideals. Almost like he's sat there at a fire with another geezer drinking, you know, whatever brandy, going, this is a plan, we could do this. We could oversee the total destruction of the world. It's like something out of Pinky in the fucking brain or something. It's like, what's going on? Crazy. And then I kind of thought to myself, you know what, it makes total sense. There was something I heard as a kid, like a little tale, and it must be him. And it goes a little something like this. Georgie, porgie, pudding and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys come out to play, Georgie, porgie ran away. That's got to be him. Got to be him. He's doing all this because a few girls cried when he kissed them. All this. Who do you blame? Do you blame him or do you blame the girls? I mean, the girls might have had a point back in the day thinking, I don't want him with his stinky breath all over me. Get away. Crying. Running off. The boys come out, where's Georgie, porgie? I'm having him. And he legs it off, all psychologically affected. But if you girls would have put up with his bad breath and he's sticking his tongue everywhere, there'd be no Black Lives Matter. There'd be no MoveOn.org. The Ukraine would probably still be in a decent place. You got a lot of African countries where there's influence, where they'd still be doing alright. Our currency, you know, would have been okay from the 90s, instead of probably having to get over someone trying to devalue our currency. All this because he can't get his head round girls don't like him. Georgie, porgie. It's just sick. So I've got another idea. I've got another idea of how I can make my 22 or 25.2 billion pounds. I'm going to invent a game. I'm going to call it the Georgie, porgie whack-a-mole game. You know, that little game where it just whacks up and you got to hammer it and you don't know where it's going to come up next. Just imagine that. A little George Soros. And it's got like Black Lives Matter, Ukraine, England, America, MoveOn.org, and each one going, Georgie, porgie. Kissed the girls and made them cry. If them girls only knew. But in reality, this guy is sick. This is probably the one of the most evil guys I've ever known. Not that I know him, but ever known of. How he gets away with it is power and influence. But people like me, look at me, just a humble painter. I'm talking about him. So if it's me, what about other intellectual people? Hopefully people of power and influence are starting to do the same. We need to take this guy down. The guy's nothing but a menace to society. Literally. Not helping anyone. So anyone who is with Black Lives Matter or, you know, any other one of these liberal-leaning organisations who feel that they just want to make the world a better place, no problem with you making the world a better place if you want. That's fine. But look where the money comes from with the organisations that you're using to try and achieve this. Black Lives Matter. Why is any black person supporting Black Lives Matter when the money comes from a Nazi collaborator who does not give a shit about you as a black person or a white person? He wants to destabilise. That's what he wants to do. Order out of chaos. And he's using his money to influence that So don't take his money thinking you're doing a good thing. You're facilitating in the destruction of what's going on. Trojan horse. Trojan horse. Black Lives Matter, Trojan horse. MoveOn.org, Trojan horse. All the other NGOs and organisations, Trojan horse. Spiked, toxic, have fuck all to do with it. But there'll be a lot of people kissing his arse left, right and centre, won't there? Even though what they're doing, they know it's nefarious, they know it's wrong. But they're on the boat and they're pulling the ladder rungs up. So they're probably eating the pie. Georgie porgie pie. Sick. So the more people that know about Georgie porgie, the better. So for me, if anyone has kids now and they want to kind of talk about bogeyman and this, that and the other, and oh, he'll get you if you don't do this, Georgie porgie is the new bogeyman. You want your kids knowing about how sick this geezer is, how many of his own people that he's kind of just distinguished and not give a shit about. If I played a part in the demise of one person, I feel psychologically I'd never ever get over it, whether I meant it or not. But what he's done, look how many people that he's, you know, making their lives a misery. How many people worldwide, how many people have died? How many countries are never going to recover? They're on their knees because of that sick fuck. So he's the man that every kid should be trying to overthrow in the head. And hopefully as generations go on, overthrow the organisations that he's all about. I mean, he's an old man now. He looks very old and don't look like he could harm a fly, does he, when you look at the pictures? But there's something sick about the look on his face, and there always is with people like that. Kissinger, him, you know, there's so many of them that you look at him and you see him as they're getting old and decrepit. They look like that grandfather that you would cry if your dad was going, come on, go see your dad. Like, no, don't want to. You just don't want him. You must stink. Imagine, just sat there in the armchair just stinking. But we're 25.2 billion, but still stinking. Flies round him, they just, you know, just the whole karma must be awful. So how could you work for anyone like that? My boss is alright. He's certainly done plot to overthrow countries. So, you know, I don't know. So anyone who's listening to this, who sees Black Lives Matter and all these other organisations as a just organisation, think about it. Follow the money. Follow the guy, the ideals of the guy who's giving the money to you. And if you still want to follow that organisation, then fine. I guess you don't mind it. If you don't mind it, then there's nothing I can say anyway. But if you do, think what you're freaking doing. You know what I mean? Red Pill Phil, like and subscribe. Sunday morning, got to finish glossing this house. And I'm going to get it done because I want to get home. And I've had a shave as well, so I do feel a little bit better. So thanks guys for watching, and see you soon. Ta-ra.